Tom, thank you so much. You know, there's a unique volunteer support group right here in the Low Country that serves veterans that suffer from PTSD. What makes them unique is the fact that they also work with family and friends of those suffering the after effects of military-related trauma. Frank Roos and Chip Nimick join us right now with much more. Guys, welcome to the program. It's great to have you here. We featured your program on our newscast several times, and I got to say it's a pretty great resource to have in the Low Country. And Frank, tell me about what it is exactly that you guys do.
First of all, thanks for having us on. Yeah. Basically, we're a self-help anonymous fellowship. We're free, and we are loosely based on some of the principles of AA, and also Patience Mason. She was like a pioneer working with family members with PTSD. So we're anonymous, free support for veterans, families, friends, veterans of all eras. A lot of times what happens is veterans get stuck in, okay, you're a Gulf War I veteran or you're a World War II veteran. In our group, we have moms, we have friends, we have Vietnam veterans, Gulf War I veterans, OIF, OEF veterans.
Cold War steely-eyed killers.
Cold War. And even though there was the Cold War, people still saw a lot of traumatic stuff.
I'm sure.
And one of the big things is military sexual trauma. I mean, we even have some people that have experienced that come to the group. So anything that's a traumatic that might have happened in the military, we're there for it's basically a PTSD support group.
Well, Chip, let me ask you, if there's somebody at home, watching right now, maybe they're depressed, they've got these feelings, they've seen some things that they can't get out of their minds. What are some of the signs that you really need to maybe get some help or talk to somebody else in a like situation?
Well, the things would be first depression, workaholism, alcoholism. Those are the things that could be set-offs, not being able to sleep, being hypervigilant. And sometimes you don't realize that. It's not something you personally realize, but your family's seeing it. And the big thing for most vets is we don't want to talk about it.
Right.
I'm a retired naval aviator, and we don't talk to psychiatrists or psychologists. And finding out that there's a group that's an anonymous group that I can sit there. There's also some concern with the kids, young men and women that are still in the military. They're concerned about letting their COs or their chain of command know they've got that problem, because they could be bye-bye, let go.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. So
is it still sort of a pride issue, especially with, servicemen and women?
I think it is. In my case, I'm better than that. I don't want to be there, but it's certainly helped my wife understand, my kids understand where I'm coming from, and they know when I get into one of my moods to kind of leave me alone, and let me calm down. But particularly my wife coming to the meetings on a pretty regular basis has helped her a lot in understanding, and it's made, after 33 years, it's made things even better.
I'm sure. And Frank, that's the really interesting part about this program. It's not just veterans that might be suffering from some PTSD. The families come in too, even sometimes without that serviceman or woman, just to kind of get a glimpse into what it's like for these people.
Oh yeah, what was really neat, one meeting a couple weeks ago, the veterans were talking, veterans will talk and the wives will talk, but the veteran was saying, we don't talk a lot about it because they don't, y'all don't understand.
They don't want to put it on them either.
Right. And they don't want to put it on because they don't want to put more of a burden.
Sure.
What was really neat is when the wives and the moms came back and says, help us understand.
Right.
So that's what was really neat.
And that's
really
a breakthrough. It happens every day.
Oh, yeah. And seeing these, I can remember one guy who's trying to start a group in Spartanburg now. He came in and he brought his family from California and his son. And the most touching moment is when he came back the next week and he said, my son was quiet when we went home, and the next day he came up to me and he goes, Dad, I didn't believe you were in so much pain.
Yeah.
And he said, Dad, he goes, I thought you were faking this because you didn't want to be with me. And to me, those are the moments that make the group so unique.
Sure.
And, and like I said, since then, this veteran is trying to start an anonymous group up in Spartanburg.
Great. Great. A lot of tears are shed, I'm sure, a lot of emotion and a lot of healing, which is a great thing. So this goes on Mondays at 7 o'clock on Old Trolley Road up in Somerville. It's a Veterans Family and Friends military support group. Guys, who can join this?
Anybody. Anybody that's military, anyone that knows somebody with military trauma. We're basically military trauma, so that's what we look for. That's probably the only, what would you call it? I don't know what the word would be, but that's the only thing that you need to be. It has to be military related.
prerequisite.
Military
Right.
Yeah,
related.
prerequisite.
That's all.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for what you do in the community.
you.
We really do appreciate it, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you both, and thank you for your service.
Again, thanks for having us.
Anytime. Okay, right now we're going to